Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to the second half of today's upload. Before we get into it, though, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch displayed directly under this video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1, 2, and 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeffrey Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get into the conspiracy side of this channel, shall we? So as I was planning tonight's conspiracy side upload, I ended up putting together a update. One of the biggest conspiracies of our times is the government, media, and the powers that be, because the government is not the powers that be. They're just a pawn. They control what information we know. And they are the reason why all of the Dogman / Sasquatch encounters and any sort of evidence are hidden and covered up. That is the biggest conspiracy on my mind. But tonight we will talk about the NWO and Serpo. The shadow forces behind the New World Order, or NWO, are following a slow-paced agenda of total control over mankind and our planet's resources. David Icke coined it in the totalitarian tiptoe because they are making very small steps towards our complete and definitive enslavement. As a result, the masses remain relatively unaware of the fact that their liberties are being gradually taken away, while the power of the NWO octopus grows steadily. The shadow forces behind the NWO agenda, somewhere near the very top of that pyramid, an extremely elitist organization known as the Council of 13 Families orchestrates all of the major world events. As the name suggests, the council consists of the top 13 most influential families on Earth. An increasing number of people are becoming aware that 99% of the Earth's population is controlled by the elite 1%. But the Council of the 13 Families consists of less than 1% of the 1% elite. And nobody on Earth can apply for membership. In their opinion, they are entitled to rule over the rest of us because they are the direct descendants of the ancient gods and consider themselves royal. These are the families. The Rothschild, the Bruce, Cavendish, de Medici, Hanover, Habsburg, Krupp, Plantagenet, Rockefeller, Romanov, Sinclair, Warburg, and Windsor. Side note, this may not be the complete list, and some very powerful lineages may still be unknown. The Rothschild dynasty is unquestionably the most powerful, visible bloodline on Earth, and their estimated wealth is around 500 trillions. They exercise their power through the world banking empire, which is almost entirely owned by them. The most important institutions that work hard to establish the NWO and completely enslave our species are the City of London, finance controlled by the Rothschilds, not part of the United Kingdom. The United States Federal Reserve, finance private bank owned by the Rothschilds, not part of the United States. Vatican City, not part of Italy. Indoctrination, deception, and scare tactics. Washington, D.C., military, mind program, brainwashing, depopulation, not part of the United States. All of the above institutions function as individual states operating under their own laws. Hence, there is no court of law on earth that could ever prosecute them. The multitude of secret societies in existence today operate as branches of a mega corporation, which is owned by the Council of 13 Families. Even though they have been handsomely rewarded for their work, the members of these secret societies are not members of the elite bloodline. They don't know who their masters are, and they have no idea what the real agenda is. Another mass enslavement tool that they are using against us is the so-called educational system. Schools are no longer what they used to be, and children are learning to memorize without thinking and obey without questioning. In fact, this established educational system is extremely expensive to keep operational and obsolete in the age of the internet. Why obsolete, you may wonder? Because the internet gives us free access to almost infinite amounts of information. So why are we still paying huge amounts of money to the government's education? Because the world's elite requires that our children learn conformity and inside-the-box thinking. Mankind's faith is hanging in a balance right now as the control of the NWO octopus spreads. On one hand, we are very close to our complete enslavement, while, on the other, we could easily crumble to the ground their pyramid of power by simply uniting against their deception in a peaceful revolution of minds, hearts, and souls. For years, I've wondered what the greatest weapon of enslavement is. Is it poor education combined with constant indoctrination? Is it fear generated by religion? Fear by being punished, jailed, killed by the system? Invisible enslavement and monetary systems? In my opinion, it's all the above combined with a huge impact on our society and the way we think. But their biggest weapon is hands down the financial system. The financial system has stealthily enslaved our species, and we now are being used as currency slaves. We work from 9 to 5 every day in a boring, depressing environment, not stimulated by anything creative or constructive. In most cases, the sole motivation for going to work is the next paycheck. And no matter how hard we work, we never seem to have enough money. Have you ever wondered why mega corporations reaping billions of dollars a year in profit pay dozens of millions to their CEOs and as close as possible to minimum wage to the rest of their employees? This has been carefully designed because a person that is constantly on the edge will never have time for self-education, introspection, and eventually spiritual awakening. Isn't this our main purpose on earth? To become spiritual beings? And by spiritual, obviously, I don't mean religious. And complete the incarnation cycle? They don't need educated people who are capable of critical thinking and have spiritual goals. No, these kinds of people are dangerous to the establishment. They want obedient robots, just intelligent enough to operate the machines and keep the systems running, but stupid enough never to ask the questions. Money is the eye of the devil. All of the world's biggest problems have their root deeply embedded in financial plagues. Wars are profitable, diseases are profitable, Earth's plundering is profitable, human slavery and inhumane working conditions are profitable. Our leaders have been corrupted by money, and mankind's collective mission on Earth has been hijacked by money. So why do we need a financial system in the first place? Actually, we don't, at least not anymore. The planet doesn't charge us a cent for using its natural resources, and we have the technology to extract them without physically working a day. More to the point, there are brilliant minds out there discussing the concept of a resource-based economy for decades. One example is Jacques Francisco, a brilliant industrial designer and social engineer who spent most of his life designing the future. The cities proposed by Mr. Jacques Francisco will be built by autonomous construction robots and will be eco-friendly and self-sustainable, earthquake and fireproof. Other people are already discussing the transition plan towards the economy of the future, where money is no longer required and all individuals will be offered better conditions to reach their highest potential, all for the benefit of our species as a whole. So the real question is, are we ready to embrace the future and escape the control of the elite in a world without money? Or are we going to allow the New World Order to happen? Now, if that wasn't terrifying enough, a little bit uplifting, right, at the end? But who really, honestly, if I offered you a chance to say, hey, we can live out from the umbrella of the New World Order. We just have to do this. How many of us would choose to step away from the comforts that they have instilled on us for years now, hundreds of years? Not too many. Fear. That's how they keep us enslaved. Fear. So this, my friends, is just as terrifying. Reports and rumors have been floating around for decades that contact between the United States government and beings from another planet or other planets has been established. These stories include information about government acquisition and advanced technologies, greater scientific knowledge, and other important assets. Some people claim that top-secret organizations and agencies were created to coordinate these sensitive operations. Now reports have surfaced about an alleged United States government military effort called Project Serpo. This program allegedly selected and trained a joint service military team to accompany friendly visitors from another planet back to their home for a planned 10-year stay, conducting a wide range of scientific research. On the newly developed website Serpo.org, this alleged project is explained and is described as the gradual release and confidential documents pertaining to top-secret exchange program of 12 U.S. military personnel to Serpo, a planet of Zeta Reticuli, between the years of 1965 through 78. Movies, books, television programs, and other media platforms have been used to comment on UFOs and these kinds of ideas over the years. Some of us may think these concepts are based on actual facts. Some may feel that these ideas may possibly be based on realities. Some of us think they are probably not at all accurate and are simply creative storytelling and wishful thinking. But according to Bill Ryan, a UFO researcher and coordinator of Serpo.org website, early last month, an interesting source came to his attention and to the attention of his associates. Ryan says a retired senior official with the United States Defense Intelligence Agency, who requested to be unnamed, stated that he represented a group of 6 current and former DIA officials. These sources began providing information to Ryan and his colleagues on November 2nd and have continued through December. Ryan states that he considers the possibilities that the information presented is not true, is partially true, is completely true, or some combination of these. He explains that other insiders are previously reported on the project, such as this, and seem to believe that the information is possibly accurate. In fact, he mentions a discussion he had learned about between an active duty Air Force lieutenant colonel and a retired Air Force intelligence colonel. The younger man had been following the alleged Project Serpo information being released and wanted to bounce it off the senior officer. In person, he provided the retired colonel with a written material. After he had finished, he stated, "Oh my God, who on earth would release such classified material?" I then asked him if all of this information was real. His simple answer was, "Yes, all real." I then asked the colonel if he had been involved with this project, and he said yes, he was involved in the communication aspect of the operation from about 61 until 65. He was also on the debriefing team. He would not provide too much information, saying that unless he saw that all information was declassified, he could not comment on details. I thanked him and I left. First report from the Anonymous. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Request Anonymous. I am the retired employee of the United States government. I won't go into great details about my past, but I was involved in a special program, thus apparently begun the recounting of a variety of interesting series of reports on alleged events involving visitors from another planet and their contact with the United States government. Anonymous stated that there were 2 crash sites in New Mexico near Roswell. One crash was near Corona, and the other was near Det Hill. The first was discovered in 47, the second not until 49. A crash survivor was found near the Corona crash. Other occupants apparently did not survive. However, their bodies were recovered, he states. The craft was eventually taken to the Wright Field in Dayton, Ohio, now Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. The surviving visitor was housed on a U.S. government facility and lived until 52, Anonymous stated. Using communication equipment from the craft, the visitor was able to and allowed to contact his home planet. Anonymous claims that by 62, an exchange program was developed between the United States and the visitors. A 12-person joint service military team of 10 men and 2 women were selected from a large pool of candidates. Special training programs were developed for them. Of interest, U.S. Army Special Force teams typically consisted of 12 men. This has been found to be an optimal team size in some ways for certain operations. Then in July of 65, at a Nevada test site, the visitors landed. The 12 Americans boarded the spacecraft and departed for a planned 10-year stay with the visitors. The Americans returned in 1978, that is, 8 returned alive, along with the bodies of 2 who died on the visitors' planet, according to Anonymous. 2 others chose to remain there. All of those who returned alive have since passed on, he stated. How this team was selected and how they were trained. Anonymous states that there was rigorous selection and training process for the team members. Their military backgrounds, psychological profiles, and other aspects of fitness for the mission was taken into consideration. He states that over 56,000 people were initially considered, and it was whittled down to the final 12 with some backups if needed. He says they went through many months of training that included various scientific disciplines, military skills, and other needed preparedness. The training took place at several military installations and sites inside and outside of the United States. The team was sheep-dipped, intelligence community lingo for bringing them into the clandestine covert black operating, and in this case, attempting to coordinate explanations for a 10-year absence from their family, friends, and associates. Anonymous claims 90,500 pounds of equipment, food, and supplies were taken with them when they departed with the visitors on board one of their large spacecrafts. The trip took 9 months to reach the planet Serpo. The Americans on planet Serpo. Anonymous says detailed reports from the team revealed a huge amount of information about the visitors and their home planet. He states that the planet lies within the solar system of Zeta Reticuli star system. 2 yellow doubled stars, similar to our sun. The atmosphere was similar to the Earth's, he states. The team took several months to adjust. There was strong radiation on the planet, and the temperature was hot, between 94 to 115 degrees. However, in the planet's northern hemisphere, the temperature ranged from about 55 to 80 degrees. The climate was generally quite dry. The United States team studied the Eben society that lived among them. They learned that the Eben civilization was approximately 10,000 years old and had evolved on another planet. In many ways, the Eben culture was similar to our own, with leaders, communities, family life of male and female couples with children, occupations, music, games, worship of a supreme being. Anonymous states they had advanced and effective technologies, though the American team did not understand all of it. The Ebens were friendly and caring towards the Americans. Communication between the human team members and the Ebens were often difficult, though both groups learned some of the other's language. Some individuals of both groups were better at it than the others. Anonymous states hand signals were also used, as well as translation devices that had limited capabilities. When the 2 Americans died on Serpo, the Ebens offered medical services and demonstrated sadness. Ebens attended the burial ceremonies that the humans held. The United States team explored the planet as much as possible, examined the animal and plant life, as well as the climate, geology, geography, physics, and other areas of interest. If the information revealed by Anonymous and his associates is true, this would seem to be signal that responsible people now feel and further disclose about such matters is appropriate at this time. Some UFO researchers have indicated that a plan of gradual release of information about these issues within the United States and internationally has been going on for decades using various public media platforms of open source intelligence. The purpose of a gradual disclosure for some information about this area has allegedly been to carefully analyze various risk factors and maintain proper security of sensitive intelligence. At the same time, some investigators have said there is a range of opinion among the experts and insiders on these kinds of projects about what kind and how much information, if any at all, should be disclosed to the general public. However, a gradual preparedness of human society about the alleged discoveries seems to have proceeded, according to some researchers. Gradual preparation of human society, In the light of the Project Serpo, some people are taking a second look at Steven Spielberg's movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind. In that film, a coordinated meeting took place with extraterrestrial visitors. Then, a 12-person team, 10 men, 10 women, went with the visitors. Spielberg reportedly had advisors and consultants on the film who provided him with insight on these subjects. Anonymous says he and his team are planning to release more information about Project Serpo. Many in the United States and around the world will surely continue to analyze these reports carefully and try to determine if they are accurate. A psychological operation for some purpose, some kind of deceptive disinformation, or a creative work of fiction. Maybe we'll find out if Anonymous and his friends are right, that Americans and humankind are ready for this kind of knowledge. Well, my friends, that explanation right there is why Hollywood and TV programs are pretty much spot on with things Why? Because the media, which is Hollywood and TV and other forms of entertainment, are just a arm of an octopus. If you look at it like the NWO is an octopus. It's pretty weird. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's second half of today's upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. With that, I want to thank you all for listening and being kind by smashing that like button. No, I'm just kidding. I've always wanted to say that. Just thanks, guys. I'm really having a good time sharing this stuff with you guys. You guys really kick butt. Our channel is just growing and getting better daily. So with that, thank you all. Please be safe. Please practice kindness. And may the Great Spirit watch over us all. And may He guide us down that path that we call life. Until tomorrow, my friends. Until tomorrow.